Hi, everybody. I wanted to do a new segment for Get Kids Back to School, and we're going to call it QOTW, Question of the Week. I'm going to take a question that I got from a board member and on an issue, and I'm going to review it for you. So if that issue affects your local school board, you can understand what the rules are. So this question of the week, says, Dear Matt, my board wants to pass a new policy where they go into closed session every time a complaint is made about a board member. They also want to exclude from closed session the board member that is being complained about. Is that legal? Sincerely, East Side board member. So the answer to that question is no, twice. So we start, if you've attended any of my trainings, you know that the Open Meetings Act is a rule that starts with the basic premise that all meetings of a public body must be in public. Now, there are some exceptions to that. One of the exceptions is called the discussion of written opinion of legal counsel. So if you get an opinion letter from a counsel about an issue, you could go into closed session and discuss that issue. But it must be written opinion of legal counsel. It cannot be, for example, a bunch of board members want to talk about something where they might be litigated against. And particularly, the state of Michigan puts out a handbook. This one was done by our Attorney General in October of 2022. And on page 12, I'm looking at it right now, it says very specifically, but note, a board is not permitted to go into closed session to discuss an attorney's oral opinion. It must be written opinion of legal counsel. So if you're complained about at a meeting, it's unlikely that you have an attorney there drafting a quick memo to discuss. Second question has to do with the exclusion of a board member. So turns out most of those issues are discussed in what are called Attorney General's opinions, where they review a law and say, in my opinion, this is what the law says, and new Attorney Generals can make their own rules, but they tend to be pretty sticky. So this one is opinion number 6358. It was written in 1986, and it discusses specifically if you can exclude a member of a body from a closed session of that body. This is not excluding the public. The public can be excluded. This is not excluding members of an administration. They can be excluded or they can be included. You're talking about excluding a member of the body from the discussion about of that body. And it turns out there is only one exception to that rule, and that is when the person is the subject of litigation and their interests are directly adverse to the board. So if they're suing the board, then the board can have a discussion and exclude that person. But failing that, they can't do that. So if their board and the person are being sued, can they kick the person out? They cannot. It's very clear. It's been in the rules for a long time. So Eastside board member, thank you for reaching out. The answer to your question on both of those is no. And if you're watching this and you have any other questions you'd like to get answered, just reach out at the information in the comments, and I'm happy to answer it as a new part of our question of the week. Thanks.